TikTok is here. Excellent. Hi everyone. Welcome back to day 2 of Hop University. We have our professor glasses, as Carly said that they were. If you are just tuning in to us today and you're wondering, why are these people live on a Tuesday? That is so weird. It is not Furry Friday. You are in luck. We are doing Hop University for this week, Monday to Thursday. If you missed yesterday, we had our first Hop University day and we talked all about, well, first I'm going to take these off. Everything is green and I can't read.
I'm a little bit sparkly.
A little sparkly. So yesterday, if you were tuning in with us, we talked about myths about raw feeding, all the things from raw isn't safe to it'll make your dog aggressive, all these different things. We busted all of those myths and we gave you some benefits that you can expect to get when you go on to raw. Before we start, we do want to remind everyone and make sure we're all on the same page. When we're talking about raw food, we're talking about fresh, raw. In the freezer is where you will find this stuff. If you're seeing shelf-stable packaging with the name raw, lots of packaging on different things will boast raw food, but we are talking about that fresh, raw food that you can get in your freezer.
Yeah, Nicole and I had touched on Friday about some of those alternatives to raw, so the freeze-dried raw, a dehydrated raw, anything like that. Again, that's not the raw that we're talking about. Those are alternatives to raw. We are talking about the fresh stuff that you will only find in the freezers.
Yeah, so now that we're all on the same page, I also want to talk about paper pages. I don't know if that was a good transition. I really tried with the transition.
It was a solid effort.
Yeah, thank you. Solid effort. If you don't know, we do have a raw feeding workbook. This will be backwards for you. Sorry about that. But we do have a raw feeding workbook that you can download and follow along with us. So we had day 1 yesterday, and today we've got a day 2 of our workbook. It is free to download. You can fill it out as a PDF on your iPad or your laptop, or you can print it old style and physically write with a pen like I would totally do. That is my way of doing things. I like pen and paper, but you can do either. Free to download on our website. If you go to Hop U on House of Paws website, you can grab yourself a workbook to follow along with. So what are we talking about today, Bailey?
We are talking about what to expect when you start feeding raw food. So we are going to touch on those immediate benefits that you get from it, any long-term benefits, and then we're also going to talk about the detox period that I feel like a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
But it is pretty important to keep in mind when we're transitioning to raw food that there is going to be a detox period. And we'll kind of give you the lowdown on what to expect for that.
Yeah, definitely. So we will jump right in to immediate benefits. We did touch a little bit on some of the immediate benefits yesterday. We wanted to go a little bit deeper into some of them. So the first one is less poop and less stinky poop. I think that is a really big green check mark for all of our pet parents out there when they hear that they don't have to clean up the litter boxes often, or they don't have to pick off the backyard as many poops as they're probably used to. Raw is very nutritionally dense, and we don't have all of those added fillers that you find in, what does Carly call them? Icky.
The pellets of ick.
Pellets of ick.
We don't want the pellets of ick.
The pellets of ick. So when we're adding in all those extra, that adds bulk, that adds stinkiness. When we're feeding a very low processed, fresh food, we are getting all the nutrients we need without all of that extra added on. Next, we have hydration is the next immediate benefit. I think this one is super, super important and super, super underrated. I think
it is very underrated.
Not a lot of people think about this one. I know I think about it all the time because I'm a cat parent and cats hate drinking water and suck at it. But this goes for dogs and cats. Kibble is only 10% moisture when we're feeding that bag. So every day we're giving them kibble, or a dry food, we're giving them 10% moisture, and we're expecting them or hoping that they get the rest from their water dish. Of course, cats don't get the rest from their water dish. Cats are known for their urinary issues and their bladder issues because they're desert animals. They don't drink water. Their little tiny tongues take, what does Carly say, 2,500 tongue laps to get a quarter of a cup of water. That's just not efficient. In the wild, biologically, they were getting most of their moisture from their food, from the animals that they're catching and eating. So that hydration is really important. Not only does it make it easier for them, for their organs to function, but it also helps to prevent kidney issues, bladder issues, inflammation of the urinary tract. Just overall, adding that hydration into the diet is really easy because you're getting it right from the food source.
Yep, and you still can, even with the raw food, add in a bone broth or goat's milk or whatever you want to add in, just to get that extra moisture. We don't have to just rely on the raw. We can still be adding in all that other good stuff to make sure that they are still getting a lot of moisture from their food.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome point. I know my cats don't like soup, but if your pets like soup and you want to soupify their meals, you can go for it. I don't know if your
Sam loves a good soup. He has decided that's the only way he wants to eat his food is in soup form now.
Delicious. Not so much. The third immediate benefit is helping control those allergies. We know we have a lot of pups who have allergies, who are very picky with what they're able to eat without causing a reaction, with intolerances and stuff like that. The really great thing about raw is that it's really easy to isolate those proteins, getting only one protein, so we can do elimination diets, or we can make sure that we're never getting chicken or never getting beef. We talk a lot on here about, if you're in our lives often, we talk a lot about big companies that don't really put transparency of their ingredient list at the top of the priority list. So even if we have a lamb and rice mix, the likelihood that there is some chicken in there is pretty high down in the list, chicken fat, stuff like that. So it can be a little bit difficult to isolate. That's why it's awesome for our raw food in the freezer. Lots of them come in.
The carnivore?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I can grab that for you.
Nika Crocs. No, you're all good. So, this is also true with their pures. So lots of raw that we have, you can get pure mixes. So it's just the ground meat, bone, and organs of the protein that it is on, or that it is comprised of. So without fruits and veggies, without any mixed in other proteins, so we can really get to the root of allergies, especially if we're doing elimination diets. On the same vein, another benefit is rotation. So it is really awesome. We always on here are always telling pet parents to rotate their food. Keep the brand different, keep the protein different, keep the texture different, rotate through all of the good things. I've got some questions on here. So, sorry about that, guys. I just wanted to... Okay, we're good. Rotation. We are always telling you to rotate no matter what we're feeding or how we're feeding it. Rotation is key. Every protein has a different nutrient content. Every protein has a different makeup. So we want everything under the sun, well, not everything under the sun, but we want to rotate through everything that we can so that we're giving them a lot of variety. Not only is this great for their health and nutritious, but it's also really awesome for food fatigue. I don't know if you have a pet at home who will eat food for a couple of days or a week and then won't eat anymore and they go on a hiatus. But having all of those options, especially in a raw food, because we're getting so many different varieties from so many different brands, is really easy to grab something new. From personal life, I know my cats really really hate eating the same thing over and over and over again. My one cat gets incredible food fatigue. He knows when I get the same brand every time, even if I'm switching proteins. I swear he knows that I am feeding him the same brand and a different protein. He gets sick and tired of it, which is why rotation is key in that sense. So yeah, we're talking about rotation.
Yes.
And how picky my cats are, and how good it is to rotate
do have picky cats.
Yes, I do. I think everyone maybe on here has picky cats. I'm sorry for you. I know it can be stressful, but
my guys are a little bit less picky, except for Ace. Ace is the pickiest. So rotating is good if you have a guy or gal at home that just doesn't really like anything and just gets bored of their food super easy.
But yeah, because raw has a lot of different texture by brand. Some brands are a little bit chunkier, some formulations are a little bit chunkier, some proteins are a little bit more like, I call it sinewy, like rabbit is very like fibrous. It's really disgusting, but it's very fibrous, whereas I find the one cat food that I get, their beef recipe is a little bit more of like a soft pate. So giving them that variety, good for their health and good for their overall enjoyment of food, I guess.
Yes.
We want our pets to love their food.
I mean, we wouldn't want to eat the same thing every single day, so we can't expect our pets to also want to eat the same thing every single day.
Yeah.
It was exactly what Carly said yesterday. They're not going to go out and catch chicken.
Yes.
Catch chicken. They're going to go out and they're going to eat different kinds of food, so we want to make sure that we are doing that for them as much as we possibly can.
So that about covers the immediate benefits that we were talking about. So immediate benefits, less poop and less stinky poop, adding in all that good hydration, allergy control if we have allergies, and really easy and awesome to rotate.
We have a lot of questions about if they're vegan, if your pets are vegan.
So answer this quickly. Cats and dogs are biologically carnivores. Dogs are facultative carnivores, and cats are obligate carnivores, meaning both of them thrive off of meat. That is what being a carnivore is. Facultative means that we can survive off of plants and we can scavenge for plants. Those are dogs. But we will not thrive unless we eat meat or a meat-based food. Cats are obligate carnivores, meaning that they need meat to survive and thrive. Our kitties have to have meat and meat sources in their diets to thrive, which doesn't just mean when they're little they can eat a little bit of, just like us. If we're younger, we can eat the junk food, we can eat all the good things, and we're totally fine. We bounce back really easy. But when we get a little bit older, we start to see the effects of the environment and what we're doing with our bodies. So we want our pets to thrive, and to thrive, they are obligate and facultative carnivores. So I hope that clears up that question there, which transitions us really nicely actually into the long-term benefits.
Yeah.
So one of the long-term benefits that very nicely transitions us into is the pay now or pay later saying that Carly always says, and that we kind of touched on yesterday. We can either pay now and give a little bit of extra effort, time, and energy and money into feeding our pets a really, really good biologically appropriate food, or we can pay later and we can pay with vet bills and dentist. I think that's the same thing. There's no dentists for dogs. Vet dentistry? Let me know if that's a field. Totally, brain is completely blanking on that one. But dental bills and vet bills in the future, when we're looking at nutrition deficiencies and things that we could have prevented in the first place with feeding a really, really great diet, which is why we recommend raw for any pet parents who are able to feed a raw diet to their pets, because we're getting all of that really good nutrients. All of those immediate benefits stack and continue to have improvements on the body that in the long term, those things are going to carry through.
So I'm going to read out this question because it is also in the long-term benefits.
Oh my gosh, you guys are helping me. Thank you.
My cat has lost a lot of weight recently, and I'm wondering if I should feed him kitten food.
So weight management is one of the things that we had on our list of long-term benefits. It's really easy, not easy, but it's more convenient, or I don't know what I'm trying to say. But if we're able to control how much food they're eating, we can control their weight. We're able to, when we're feeding raw, we will talk about this tomorrow when we're talking about safe handling, but because we're feeding a raw food, because it's in the fridge and the freezer, we can't leave that out all day long. We don't have grazers in our houses. We have carnivores, which kill and eat and have specific meal times. So when we're feeding raw, we will feed them a specific meal, a specific amount at a specific time every day. So we're able to keep track of how much they're eating. So if we've lost weight, maybe we're not eating as much, but if we're free feeding, it can be a lot more difficult to figure out how little are we eating.
So specifically not free feeding, we're feeding twice a day, dry food for breakfast and wet food for dinner. So if we're losing weight and we're having trouble sort of maintaining what we would call a healthy weight, I would say maybe we need to bulk up those meals a little bit.
Yep.
A good thing to bulk up is a goat's milk. Goat's milk is high in calorie. And so if we're wanting to bulk up that food a little bit, we don't necessarily have to feed more. There's options of things that we can be adding into that food to bulk it up.
That are calorie dense, that we're adding low bulk, but calorie dense. And we definitely, if you're noticing like changes in weight that are really worrying to you, definitely go see your vet, talk to them, make sure that you're letting them know your concerns. And it's really important to keep up with our vets and do regular checkups so that they can record weights and we can see a record of them over time. I know I take my cats annually to the vet, but I also have a little book. Maybe I'm a little crazy, but I have a little book at home, and every week we weigh my cats and I write down in their little personalized journals how much they weigh that week so I can see how we're doing. I do have a kitten at home, so I want to make sure that we're growing at a good rate and we're getting to appropriate adult size. But yeah, keeping track of calories, maybe keeping a journal, getting in touch with your vet are really, really important. But a raw diet is awesome for that weight management because we're feeding a really calorie dense food, something that the nutrients is really easy for our obligate and facultative carnivores to digest. So we're getting all of the good things from our food in a really easy way for them to digest it.
Yep. And if you're asking where would you be able to find that, wherever you are located, you should be able to go to a pet store, and in their freezer section, you should be able to find a goat's milk. If you have somewhere that sells Honest Kitchen, Honest Kitchen makes a dehydrated goat's milk, which is shelf stable. So then you just add water to it and you still get your goat's milk, you still get the calories that you need to bulk that food up a little bit. And sometimes that's a little bit easier than having to find somewhere that sells that frozen. So I would definitely say if you can find somewhere near you that sells Honest Kitchen and you can get a dehydrated one, if not, try and find somewhere around you that does sell frozen goods in your pet stores, and you should be able to find a goat's milk there. Someone has asked a question a couple times. I have a question: what happens when your dog has allergies to everything?
So we talked about this a little bit earlier about allergy control and isolating proteins and pure proteins. So I don't want to double down on everything that everyone's already heard. So I'll just quickly, raw food can be really great because we have isolated proteins. We can get a beef blend, we can get a lamb blend, we can get a pork blend, and we can get rare proteins as well. That's something I forgot to touch on. That was on my list. So once again, good work, audience, for keeping me on track. But we can also get rare proteins. So kangaroo, rabbit, quail, bison, those things that aren't typically found in grocery store pet foods or even premium dry foods. They're rare. They do have a little bit of a bigger price tag because they are a little bit more rare, but those are really great starting points to do a elimination diet. If we can find a rare protein that doesn't cause allergies and then slowly introduce new things gradually till we find that thing that's the issue, that is a really great opportunity for raw. We have a lot of pet parents who have come into the store with pets with allergies who have switched over to a raw pure formula with addition of other vitamins and stuff, which we will talk about on Thursday, our last day, when we're talking about how to begin. Pure blends are typically not a complete and balanced meal because they don't have the veggies or the tripe to balance them, but that makes it a good option for isolating allergies. We just have to make sure that we're rebalancing that back in.
Yeah, and if we wanted to stay on a pure for a long term, there are supplements and things we can be adding in there that will fully balance the meal.
Yeah.
So that is always an option. And you can stay on a pure diet with no fruits or veggies or anything like that in it for up to 3 months. Before then, we need to consider doing some rotation with some other stuff that's going to balance their diet.
All right, so long-term benefits, we got another one, which is skin and coat, which we kind of touched on yesterday, talking about shinier coats, less dandruff, healthier skin. All of these things we'll see as long-term benefits once we've been on a raw diet for a little bit. Raw is high in nutrients and very absorbable. So we're getting all of those good things from the food that not me, the food that our pets are eating, high absorbability, if that's a word, of the nutrients. So they're getting all of those good things for their skin and coat. We do always recommend adding in some sort of omega oil, which will just boost that skin and coat loveliness even more. But in terms of raw, I give my kitties raw whole sardines and raw salmon fillets, which are really great additions to the bowl, which I'm sure we'll talk about on Thursday, how to spice it up with all of the good things. But yeah, skin and coat, I've noticed an incredible difference with my one cat after moving over to raw, seeing that coat nice and shiny. When I'm brushing, I'm not taking out tons of hair and have dandruff all over my little brush. So I've noticed a really big difference feeding a less processed food.
Mm-hmm. And I love that you're feeding your dog Big Country raw. We love Big Country. I love Big Country. I love that they're Canadian. And they're from Ontario, and I'm an Ontario girl, so I feel like I'm just like all love for them.
Our final long-term benefit is dental health. So another one that I think is underrated. It was one of our biggest myths because lots of people don't think of it as a benefit. They think of it as a hindrance. But the dental health of your pup in the long term will greatly improve. Raw meaty bones and the raw bone in the food is nature's toothbrush for our dogs and our cats who don't have those jaws that swing left to right, don't have the molars that grind and crush. They've got sharp teeth. They've got bangs.
They sure do.
They are made for grabbing, ripping, and swallowing, not for chewing and grinding. So when we have those crunchy pellets of ick, we are not cleaning the teeth because we are not grinding, we are not chewing, we are crunching and swallowing. Raw diets also have natural enzymes in them that help to soften the plaque in the mouth and help clear that in the long run. But yeah, do you have anything to add for dental health?
I do not. I find that the breath isn't quite as bad.
Yes, that was the other one.
Which is amazing because my dogs love to lick my face.
Yummy.
And I don't think anyone's a fan of the bad breath. So if we can be doing things to get rid of that stinky, stinky breath, then it is a positive.
Oh yes, yes, especially when my cats come on my lap, do a big stretch and yawn in my face. I don't want to smell stinky, gross fish all of the time.
Yeah.
No thanks. I'm here for cute cuddles, not stinky cuddles. So those were our long-term benefits. We have weight management, dental health, skin and coat improvement, and pay now, pay later. If that rings a bell.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah.
Long-term health contribution. You're contributing to their long-term health. You're putting money into the long-term health bank. Yeah, we're gonna go with that.
Okay,
That's
I like
it.
that.
That's what
that sounds good.
So last but not least, we want to talk about detoxing,
Detox.
which can be kind of difficult when we first start onto raw and we start noticing symptoms of detox and start attributing those to allergies or
How's it going?
worsening issues. Look, everything when we're starting on a raw is going to look worse before it looks better. So
Juice, yep, just right back
the
there.
body, if we're coming from a really highly processed food, like a dry commercial kibble, and we move over to something super, super unprocessed, like a raw, we are going to notice the body need a little bit of time to transition over. We're going to have all of those extra toxins in the body from feeding that super highly processed food work its way through the system before we get to that golden ticket of a raw fed puppy or kitty. And this can be really difficult for some pet parents who are dealing with allergies or who are dealing with insensitivities or skin and coat issues or the cheese puff paws, because it can look like it's not making a difference, but we want to let you know patience is key and that we have to take things slowly. If I'm eating McDonald's every single day and I'm having French fries for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with no veggies in between and no good fats, I'm not going to end up doing very well on a salad every day if I quit cold turkey and if I'm expecting the next day to be chipper and have more energy. That's just not going to happen. It's going to take my body a little bit of time to work off or get over my French fry addiction and move over to a fresh kale salad. I don't think my gut would do very well on kale after coming from French fries every day. So we also have to give that that window of time for our pets as well when they're going from a really, really highly processed food to a very unprocessed food. Did you have anything to add for the detox stuff?
I honestly missed everything that you said because I was helping someone. So where were you on detox?
That's such a good question. I guess just go slow is kind of what I'm going for. Being patient.
Yeah, I mean it's like when we're doing any sort of transition for food, we don't want to just go cold turkey if we can avoid it.
Yeah.
Regardless if we're going from kibble to a less processed option, kibble to raw. If we can take our time doing that transition, we can give their body some time to get used to it. We can give their tummy some time to sort of figure out the acidity that they need to break it down. The more time we can give them to get used to that new food, the better.
Yeah.
Now, there are going to be some pets out there who are going to be like, I'm only going to pick out the new stuff and I'm not going to eat this old garbage that you were giving me.
Pellets of ick? No way.
more pellets of ick. And that's totally okay. Everyone's dog is different. Everyone's dog or cat is going to do transitioning to food differently. So if your pet is just going for the new food, don't stress about it. Don't be like, oh my goodness, I can't do the transition. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
It is so not the end of the world. There are things that we can be adding into their diet that will hopefully sort of help manage their gut a little bit to make sure that we are not seeing a whole bunch of bad things coming out the back end, no bad things coming out the front.
Yeah.
So there are things that we can be doing for that, but don't stress yourself out if your pet is like, only gonna eat the new stuff now. It happens. It's not the end of the world. There's definitely things that we can do to combat the upset tummy.
Yeah, no, those are really, really good points. I'd say on day 4 on Thursday, we'll probably touch on things that you can add in to help that transition go a little bit smoother. Things like fiber, digestive enzymes, pre and probiotics are all really great additions we can get into the gut while we're doing a transition, both to tame that tummy and to set the stage with prebiotics and plant the seeds with probiotics to get that really appropriate gut flora that will help them get all of those nutrients and do that transition really well.
Yep. And when we're going through that detox period, what we're going to see is if we do have underlying issues, we're going to see things go good. We think things are getting better, and then we're going to see things go downhill, and it almost seems like things are getting worse. That's just the body flushing out all of the things that isn't good for them. If there's things that have been causing a sensitivity or an intolerance or an upset tummy or itchy coat or what have you, their body's flushing all of that out. So when they're going through that period where it seems like they've taken a turn down and things aren't great and it feels like all of their itchiness and licking their paws and all that is getting worse, give it a little bit of time. We will then see that climb back up and level out to where things are good. We're not having those issues anymore. It is just their body detoxing all of that stuff that wasn't great for them or that was causing any of those issues. So don't be alarmed if you see that. You think things, oh yes, they're doing so much better, and then things take sort of a bit of a decline. Just hold out. It takes about a month for them to go through that detox period. So just be patient. Don't stress too much if you think, oh my gosh, all of a sudden they're licking themselves way more than they were. They seem super itchy. They're just detoxing. It will get better.
Yep. Yeah. I think that's what we had.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any more questions?
I mean, if we are talking about what to expect, if you have a pup at home who experiences issues with their anal glands, feeding raw food actually can help with that. It will help the bone in it. It's actually going to help bulk up their poop a little bit. When we're having anal gland issues, it's usually because their poop is too soft and so they're not able to naturally expel themselves. We're going to bulk up that poop with all the bone and everything that's in there, and then they will be able to naturally express those themselves. So that's something that you can expect if you do have a pup that has any of those anal gland issues. If you are feeding a raw diet, it is definitely going to help out with that.
Yeah, digestion in general, I think I've noticed an improvement with my cats.
Yeah.
Just again because of the nutrients dense, the absorbability, the biological appropriateness of that diet is what their short acidic digestive tracts are meant for, not our very slow and windy digestive tracts. So for anybody tuning in, almost fell over, everything's fine.
Be careful. Let's not hurt ourselves today.
So yeah, for anybody tuning in late, I think we covered everything that we were planning on covering. So I'll just do a quick review of everything for you guys. So we talked about things to expect, talked about immediate benefits, less poop and less stinky poop, added hydration, which helps with organ function, bladder health, urinary health, allergy control because we can isolate and do lots of pures, as well as food fatigue prevention because we have all of those awesome options to rotate from. We have long-term benefits we talked about, which is skin and coat because we have all of that really great nutrients that's easy for our pets to absorb so the body can have all of that good stuff to help with their skin and coat. Dental health, raw meaty bones and the enzymes in bones in raw food help to break down the plaque and our nature's natural toothbrush. Weight management, when we're feeding raw, we'll be feeding scheduled meals in a scheduled portion. So being able to feed a little bit more or feed a little bit less is a lot easier on a raw diet than on a free roaming grazed kibble feeder or kibble eater. And pay now or pay later. So we can either pay now with a little bit of time and extra energy to feed them their biologically appropriate diet, or we can pay later and pay in vet bills and stuff like that in the long run when we're not feeding them a really, really high quality, great food. And finally, we talked about detoxing. So you can expect on a raw diet all of these amazing benefits, but there can be a transition period of weeks or a couple of months where your pet seems to be getting worse before they get better, and that is just their body naturally detoxing from that super highly processed food we were on to that really low processed raw food that we're transitioning over to.
I would say think about when we do detox. If you are detoxing yourself, it is not pretty. For a couple of days.
No.
It is not great. Don't love it. But that's what your dog's body is doing, just not as fast as we do when we're doing a detox. So just keep that in mind, that it is relatively comparable to us doing a detox. And so don't stress, it's just all a bit icky, the pellets of ick coming out of their body, and so it's totally normal. It is not anything to worry about.
Yep.
And then tomorrow, we are talking about safe handling, storage, and serving of your raw food. So we're going to teach you, if you are like me and are kind of like get the heebie-jeebies about raw meat. I eat meat and I still get the heebie-jeebies about touching raw meat. So if you are like me, we are going to go over that tomorrow, ways to handle it safely, how to store your raw food, and the best way to be serving your raw food to your pets. We are going to go over all that. It will be super awesome.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we are going to be live at the same time. We are going to try and go live around 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. I don't know what time zone we're in.
We are in a standard. We are in Central Standard Time. We are in Regina, Saskatchewan, so it will be 2 o'clock our time. Tomorrow we will be live again. And I've got a couple of comments asking if this will be on YouTube, and yes, it will.
Yes.
So we have a Hop University playlist now on our House of Paws Boutique YouTube channel. So today we will upload our Facebook Live onto YouTube, put it in the playlist so that you can go back and see yesterday, and then if you missed anything today, you can go back and see today, and then tomorrow and Thursday will also be uploaded once those get recorded, I guess.
And for the booklet doesn't have the information that we are talking about. The booklet is for you to take notes if there's anything that you want to specifically write down or take note of that you think is going to be really helpful for you in the long run. Like Lee said, this is all going to be on YouTube, so if you do have the notebook and you didn't take any notes and you're like, oh man, that was really something that I think would be helpful for me while I'm transitioning to raw food, you can totally go back and watch these, write all the stuff and things down in the book, and then you can sort of look back at it whenever you need to, but it will be on YouTube, and you can go back and you can watch. And I mean, if you miss us when we're not doing lives every day, you can go back just to see us if you want to.
But yeah, so don't forget to get your workbook. Don't forget to look up our YouTube channel and check those out as well. But yeah, we'll be back again tomorrow. We are super excited. If you guys are excited, let us know in the comments. If you have any questions that you're writing down and we missed you or we didn't get to you, you can always ask those comments on our Instagram page or our Facebook, or even under YouTube or TikTok, or you can bring them tomorrow and you can ask those questions tomorrow and we will get back to you, because feeding raw can be kind of a scary challenge at first, but we're here. Very scary. Oh my gosh, I'm terrified.
So excited that she's dropping things on the floor.
Well, I got to wear the cool glasses again today. I
know, I got glitter in my hair from the glasses.
All right, well, I'll put mine back on as we bid you all.
Are we wearing them again?
Adieu. Yeah, we'll say goodbye in our cool glasses.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
we will see everyone tomorrow. I mean, I guess we won't see you, but you will see us.
You will see us tomorrow.
And we will give you some more information on Raw Feeding Week.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are enjoying it so far.
And thanks so much for tuning in on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, we will see everyone tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.